As an introvert, what irritates you the most? You can't even survive. Forget growing in your career without so-called networking. No matter how top of the game you are in knowledge and skills. I'm in scientific research. It sounds harmless when people tell you need to have a big network of colleagues to get a good job. Does my research papers in high impact journals mean nothing? Answer is not without friends who lobby for your job. People thinking that introvert means disliking people. I love people. I love learning about people. But when I want space to recharge, that's it. It's nothing personal. When I just want to be alone and someone takes it personally, it's so hard to make people understand that I just can't relax around them. It's nothing personal, I'm just more comfortable by myself. The assumption that it's something that needs fixing. That had just occurred to me. I expect she'll come out of her shell when she's older. And Sil never says boo to a goose. What are we going to do with you? All sounds suspiciously like you just haven't met the right guy yet. The guilt tripping after you say no to plans. And the way it feels like you have to have an excuse for being busy rather than just not wanting to go. Just to avoid the guilt tripping. When people clump introverts together with social awkwardness, social phobia, agoraphobia, they are not the same thing. When people don't understand, recharge time is a real thing. My dad, sister, and I are total introverts. When we have big family parties, we usually slip out quietly to go recharge for a second in solitude. Always end up finding each other in an empty room and laugh at ourselves for doing the same thing. Things like very persistent OHH. Come on. Stay with us. If I'm going, I have a reason. I had a good fun. I start to be exhausted, so I see myself out to leave with positive memories. Don't make me feel bad for it. Thwarted expectations for time alone. We are planning to go out. Spend time together. No problem. I'll rest up for it. But you let me think I've got a night day weekend to myself. Or our thing will be over at 7 and now it's 9:30 with no sign of ending soon. I'm going to be irritated as duck. I didn't budget energy for this. When I'm completely socially and or energy depleted, I've expressed my need for some quiet alone time, and someone continues to try and talk to me. People think we are sad and need cheering up. No, we are perfectly fine. We need some ducking space. When people think that, just because I'm an introvert, I don't like being around lots of people and hanging out a lot. Only different between me and my extroverted friends is that I can only recharge my metaphorical batteries alone or with like a single really good friend. No, don't go home. You can just crash on the couch. No a-hole here. No a-hole here. I will drive separately to friends' houses to hang out. All of my friends carpool together and sort of tease me about driving alone. But it always ends up like this, lol, and to be trapped somewhere, even if it's a friend's, sends me into a panic. When I'm done hanging out, I'm freaking really done, haha. People being obnoxiously loud or inconsiderate. It's like, do they not notice? People not really differentiating between shy and introverted. I'm both, but they are not the same thing. The idea that being an introvert makes me asocial or socially awkward. I'm not at all. I still like parties and going out and doing things. I just need lots of time alone to recharge my batteries. Small talk. I can't do it. I don't know what to say, especially when I'm talking to a stranger. I work retail, so sometimes I get those RLY chatty customers. Same. I'd rather sit silent than talk about the weather or explain how did my weekend go. I'd actually love to just enjoy the silence sometime, but people too often feel pressured to keep a conversation going. I'm an introverted meteorologist. The best thing someone can do around me is try to make small talk about the weather. 1. Always being pushed to go out and be social. 2. Online dating. 3. Loud talkers who never shut up. Plus people who just don't shut up. 4 awkward silences. When people come into my room and don't close the door when they leave. Just reading this made me mildly angry. The assumption that some things are fun for everyone. Please, let me enjoy my book while listening to the birds in my backyard instead of spending the evening standing next to sweating people in an area that feels way too small for me to be there. I understand some people love going out. Why is it always assumed that everyone does though? People who think everyone has to talk all the time to have a good time or be happy. I actually really enjoy to listen to people's stories and don't want to talk so much myself. Thanks. That I have to explain and convince my family that I need some alone time to recharge. Oh my god. This one Christmas a few years back, I was with the family on my dad's side. I spent most of the day playing with my cousin's young children, basically my nieces. My cousin and aunt spent most of the day in the kitchen cooking and tidying. My other cousin, dad, and uncle were all playing games or just chatting. I love my nieces, but they were like 3, 4 at the time, maybe even younger. Keeping them entertained and out of the way was absolutely exhausting and draining emotionally and mentally. We left my cousins and went back to my aunt's where me and my dad were staying. I said my good nights, went to my room, and played my 3DS to chill for a bit. The next day my dad asked me why I disappeared that night. I said I was just drained from the day and needed some time to recharge. He didn't get it and seemed to think it was related to depression, which I've dealt with in the past, and said I should go to the doctor. I nearly lost my cool at that. I had to explain very politely why that wasn't the case, and why I was more tired from looking after 2 toddlers than he was from drinking and talking most of the day. That reminds me of every family party as a teenager. I was the default babysitter, just by being whatever age I was. I was stuck looking after 2 to 5 kids, and I'd wear out a lot quicker than they would. I don't love my cousin's kids, because I don't know them, and I never enjoyed looking after them. That people assume introvert means being shy, socially awkward, or that we hate people. I cringe at this. Open plan offices. Just let me do my work. I don't want to have to feel on constantly. Do the high head nod every time someone walks past me. Have my focus broken by having a chat every time someone feels like wandering over. By the end of the day I'm drained and upset. And the trend toward offices with glass walls. I can't focus when I see people walking by and waving at me. I also felt self-conscious just anticipating that people would walk by. My work products seriously suffered when our firm made that switch. Tried to work more from home where I could concentrate, but that was frowned upon before the pandemic. When you tell them you are trying to do something, like read, write, listen to music, or say you are doing something that I think that obviously needs focus, and they just keep talking like you've said nothing at all. It's like they don't know what silence is, or even just a little bit of patience. Let me finish writing this note to myself, then we can chat. Or when you're literally sitting there, reading a book, but because you're in the break room, kitchen, etc., they think you should be available to be talked at. I mean, I'll talk if you need to, but give me a few minutes to come out of the dream world I was in. Why are you so quiet? Because I have nothing to say, Duckus. My usual go-to response is I don't have anything interesting to say. Or if they are very obnoxious, you won't like what I have to say. People thinking I'm lonely or depressed because I'm sitting alone at lunch or don't go out often. I'm perfectly happy and like being this way. I get funny looks in public often because I'm eating alone or something. Yes, I have friends, but I value my alone time and sometimes I just need to live life at my own pace. The assumption that I must not be an introvert because I have social skills. I just don't like having to use them. Okay, it's exhausting to pretend to like you all. When I finally have something I feel is worth saying and I get interrupted, well, duck it then. I'm not an introvert, but because I don't yell while speaking. Some loser from my family would often cut me off right in the middle of my sentence with incredibly irrelevant shit to say. This has been my go-to sentence to think to myself on such occasions. I wouldn't make an act out of it, but I didn't feel pity for them when they'd feel bad for being rudely interrupting afterwards when someone would ask me to continue, and they'd do their dumb "oh did I cut you off" confused look. Incredibly annoying. When people make sudden plans and get angry when you are not up to going out. I need time to emotionally recharge. Ugh, yeah. Hey, we are hitting the bars in 3 hours. Then the surprised Pikachu face when you don't want to or even genuinely can't. What's wrong? Are you okay? What's wrong? Are you mad about something? Are you sure nothing's wrong? When people ask me what's up 10 times a minute, like, dude, I kinda look like something's wrong. But it's okay, I told you. Forced compulsory group assignments projects. The obligation to get along with everyone, or at least fake it. Answering phone calls. When shopping for clothes. The salesperson coming over to help you. Entering alone an empty store. I think when some very extroverted people think they need to put you on the spot and push you out of your comfort zone for your benefit and they don't get how much you don't want it. Like try to force public attention on you. Try to force you to make a speech. Try to push you to dance. Insist you go introduce yourself to people you don't know for whatever reasons, etc. How about they go lock themselves inside without internet for a week to push themselves out of their comfort zone for their own benefit. Consider subscribing if you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of Reddit Universe.